Greetings, Doc Griffin here, and once again it's time for your weekly house call. Today I'm going to deal with a subject I know is very dear and close to the hearts of a lot of you, and that deals with distance. Particularly we're going to talk about distance with the driver. As I see it, there are four components that deal with the distance that you get from a driver. There are club head speed, centerness of hit, launch angle, and to some degree the spin rate of the golf ball. Now, club head speed. Let's deal with that one factor first, because there are a lot of you that seem to have this misconception that you should be hitting the ball X amount of yards. Can a driver give you an additional 40 or 50 yards, so forth and so on? Yes, it can. If you are playing a driver that is totally so mismatched for you, let's say you have a 70-mile-an-hour swing speed playing an extra stiff 6.5 degree lofted club, yeah, we could probably build you a driver that would give you an additional 40 or 50 yards, maybe even 100 in this case. But realistically, if you can find out what your club head speed is, let's say 80 miles an hour. A general rule of thumb is the 2.5 factor. If you'll take 80 and multiply it times 2.5, you come out with 200. That is what you can reasonably expect off of a perfect drive, sit dead center with the right launch angle with that club head speed. Now at a 200 yard carry, you should probably get about 8 to 10% roll, so you're in the neighborhood of 215 to 220 with your rollout. At 80 miles an hour, guys, that's about all you're going to get. There is no magical tool that I can pull out and say, boom, okay, now you can hit the ball 250 yards. That being said, there are things that you can do to maximize a driver's potential with the individual. Number one, how do we maximize club head speed? Well, first thing we go back to is what we talked about before in relationship to the length of the driver. I have shown this time and time again that just because the shaft is longer, you do not swing the club faster and therefore generate more club head speed. In fact, I have shown just the opposite. More times than not, the shorter club allowed the player to generate more club head speed. So we want to do all that we can to generate proper club head speed. Another thing is getting a shaft with the right kick. What do we mean by kick? That would be where the shaft actually bends. Now, let me show you something. The difference between a high bend shaft, which hits the ball low, and a low bend shaft, which hits the ball high, about 1.5 inches. That's it. 1.5 inches difference in the bend profile of the shaft will make the difference in how the shaft kicks the ball in the air. The slower the club head speed, the more you want some kick down there at the bottom to help get the ball airborne and started on the right launch angle. Also, the earlier you release your hands back here, the more you want to have a club with a low kick point so that you still have some kick coming through in the shaft to help get the ball up and going on the proper launch angle. Now, you've heard me say the word launch angle at least 3 times so far. Launch angle is critical. You've got to get all the other components working together with your swing, your club head speed, your angle of attack. That's how you come into the ball. Not a disparaging comment, but most amateurs have a descending blow, and that's why they want you to hit the ball up on the top of the club, where it's actually the roll. The club actually has more loft up on the top end, so that when you hit down on it, rolls up and sends it off on a higher launch angle. But the key to getting the proper launch angle, again, you got to have a launch monitor to check it. Depending on what your club head speed is, the slower your club head speed, the higher your launch angle needs to be in order to get the ball to launch on the right trajectory in order for it to maintain proper flight, i.e. for it to soar as long as it will, and then have the proper angle of descent for optimum rollout. Now, the other key factor here is centerness of hit, which goes back to also length of the driver shaft. You want to be able to control the club head and hit it dead center of the club face more times than not. And I'd say 8 out of 10 times. If you're not hitting it in the center 8 out of 10 times, then you've got a club that's either A, too long, or B, the MOI is incorrect. But hitting it in the center of the club face gives you maximum ball speed coming off the club face. Mishit it one way or the other, heel or toe, half inch, and you've lost about 5 yards. Full inch, you've lost about 10 or 11. 3/4 of an inch, you're back up to 15 or 16. Miss it a whole inch and you've lost 20 yards thereabouts. So you can see the importance of hitting it in the middle of the club face. Then the last thing I want to deal with is the proper golf ball. The slower your swing speed, the more you need to have a soft cover, soft golf ball in order for it to compress and rebound off the club face faster. You also want a ball that has a higher spin rate, because spin is what gets the ball launching up and climbing. Creates low pressure on top and high pressure underneath, which gives the ball lift, and then it creates turbulence, which gives you push. So again, to get a right driver, you've also got to be having the right golf ball in order if you want to maximize your greatest potential for distance using the driver. And I'm sorry, there is no easy, simple, clear-cut explanation as to, well, what can I do to get the right combination? That is what a professional fitter is for. And I know you've heard me repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, and I'm going to repeat it again. If you need help, find a fitter. How can we find a fitter, you say? At the end of every blog, there's a list of the 3 certified fitters that we have currently. Now, there is good news. We are in the final stages of putting together our PPGS fitter certification program, and come January 1, we expect to have 15 to 20 certified fitters in place scattered throughout the country. So it should get a little bit easier, guys, and we appreciate your patience. So, as always, if you've got a question that I can help you with, please feel free to call me or email me, put it on the blog. I do the best I can to answer it. If you've got a question about coming down to see us, please give us a shout. We'll be glad to help you. And as always, remember, better golf is just a fit away.